Now we're going to talk about Susanna. And Susanna is a solo viola movement. And this particular piece was inspired by a fresco, in a very old fresco in a church in Rome that's almost entirely disintegrated. And the restorers have sort of put it back up on the wall, but leaving all sorts of blank space where they no longer have parts of the fresco. So it's an image that gradually, as you sort of process it, comes into focus, and there's a spot in the middle where you kind of see what it's supposed to be, and then it disintegrates again. So the metaphor I was using a lot in thinking about the viola and the sound was that it's like the sound is trapped inside your viola and trying to break free. There's a kind of corral that's here, but it doesn't fully get revealed because it's trapped. So there's two different techniques. The first is a shake, and the second is a stutter.
To set up this technique, the bow should have contact with the strings and kind of catch the way you would start a collé stroke on the instrument. And once you have that contact, then to relax your arm and use your knuckles to kind of shake on the string, but your arm doesn't allow you to move.
Yeah, the shake is interesting because you can kind of control what happens and you kind of can't. And that's one of the things I really love about some of these techniques, is that sometimes you don't really know what's going to happen, but it's okay if you can start with no sounds, and then you can kind of let some sounds escape, and then some will escape on their own. And also, if you find that your sounds are too crunchy, because there's a balance between sounds that just sound like a little grunt and sounds that have pitch. And I would love there to be a few that have kind of a sense of pitch. So maybe you could lighten up in your arm if you're feeling if you're getting too much of that and not enough things where you can hear pitch. So the shake, you're stuck, you're hearing little bits of pitch and sound escape. And then the stutter is very similar, except we're going to take that kind of stuck position and travel with it. So the bow is very gradually moving, but in a stuttery sort of way. The goal is to try to keep it irregular sounding, so it doesn't sound. But I'm very slowly drawing the bow like this. You want to demonstrate? People also will find slightly different ways of, shaking and stuttering. Whatever works for you. I would just say that remember that the difference is that the shake is stuck in one spot. It's if the strings are glued to the bow. The bow is glued to the strings. And in the stutter, it's a very gradual traveling. And you can kind of change bow whenever you need to in this very slow travel. And then we were going to talk about one other thing. The sort of climax of this movement is a scratch stop. And maybe, Anne, you could talk about that.
The scratch stop comes in the middle of the movement at the end of the most melodic material, where you can actually hear the pitch really clearly. So at this moment, you want a nice, full, beautiful, colorful sound at the beginning of the note, and in the second half of the bow, slow down so that you create overpressure until you stop fully at the frog.
That was amazing. Yeah, so one other thing you can do to activate the scratchiness in the string is I find that if you lighten up with the pressure on these two fingers, in your left hand, it'll make the note kind of instantly scratch. So if you're having trouble getting the scratch to happen when you want, just remember light left hand fingers will sort of instantly scratch you up.